In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Hello everyone, Science Viking here, and I'm back to Darkest Dungeon. So, let's see, what kind of champions do I have? So I have, excluding the people who can't go back to the Darkest Dungeon, I have an Abomination, 2 Lepers, a Hellion, another Abomination, an Occultist, and a Vestal. Oh, and a Jester and a Arablast. So, could I put together a good team to go into the Darkest Dungeon out of these? Because I do need to go back there at some point. So, I'm actually contemplating going with a position 2 Vestal using the Profane Scroll, a Arablast in position 4, and a whatever the name of this class is, an Occultist in position 1. If I were to do that, I'd really or in position 3. If I were to do that, I'd really also want a Bounty Hunter. Except it appears that we don't have any. We have no... Our last Bounty Hunter apparently died, and we're completely out of them. In which case, I'd probably go with a Man-at-Arms as the front runner. That's the other question. Do we have any do I have a champion level Man-at-Arms? No, I don't. Well, I have Syset, but he's still being treated for things. Well, either way, we're not going to be able to go this week. So, let's see. Who to treat? I'm going to start by treating Gilpin. And I'm actually going to leave it at that for now. And we need funds. So, let's see. Hell's Hairpin and 11,000 gold. A short mission with a Blight Amulet, which is actually okay. A Berserk Mask. I believe I already have one of those. Yep. Though also 11,000 gold. Or a Berserk Charm, which is kind of like a watered-down version of a Berserk Mask. But this would also get me fresh air in the tunnels, which would make the next one easier. I think we're going to do this one, and then use fresh air in the tunnels for the next one. So let's put a Man-at-Arms, a Occultist. Let's see, let's put you here. And Vilhardane. And then let's bring a Houndmaster. Seems like a reasonably balanced team. We don't have a main healer, which is, well, unless you count the Occultist as a main healer, which is not ideal, but it should be okay. And the Cleansing Eye Patch. Okay, so... let's go with the Cudgel Weight. And then I'm also going to give you the Ancestor's Portrait. And for the Occultist, I don't think we're going to be fighting any Eldritch. The Evasion Incense could be good, and he's going to actually need the Ancestor's Scroll to get some extra healing output. And the Medic's Greaves, and the Bullseye Bandana. Yeah, I like that combination. Now, as for skills, let's trade Rallying Flare for Battlefield Bandage. And Hands from the Abyss for Vulnerability Hex. And do I really need Daemon's Pull? I'll drop Daemon's Pull for Sacrificial Stab. If for you. Hound's Rush, Cry Havoc, Lick Wounds, Blackjack. So you have Sniper's Mark. Initially, I'll probably end up re-equipping Lick Wounds later, but initially let's trade that for Targetless. Trade Command for... You know... Not necessarily in this fight, but I've been underestimating the usefulness of Command. Increases accuracy, critical rate, and damage while guarded. That could be really helpful under certain circumstances. Bolster a lot less so, but I'm going to go with Retribution and Defender. Alright. And Provision. I am not forgetting the torches. I'm just going to try to ignore the flickering. That one actually jump scared me a little bit. Grab some food, but with medicinal herbs we can avoid that a little bit. Get some skeleton keys, plenty of bandages, plenty of anti-venom. And unfortunately vaccinations haven't been invented yet, so we're just going to have to suck it up on the disease front. I wonder if there is... Does holy water increase disease resistance if you just use it on a character directly?
The swine draw power from their horrid markings and crude idols. Tear them down.
And once again, a relatively generous map layout. I haven't really been paying attention for this, but I wonder if the map layout is actually more generous to you on lower difficulty missions. I actually want to make sure that the Enchantress dies this turn, so let's start with this. I don't want to deal with, I want to call it Stress Wave, but that's the wrong name. And 12 to 21. Okay, so we have to deal with her for one Stressful Incantation. That's the ability I was thinking of. So we have to deal with one hit of Stressful Incantation, and that's it. Now, you can't reach, you can't reach the guy in the front with anything, but you can hit the Swinotar no matter where he is. So, let's start with that. And the Gladiator's move resistance is only 45%. Well, yeah, let's just knock him back and stun him, and now the Swinotar is going to have to use Trot Retreat again.
Death.
And that's the end of the Enchantress, so he's not in position 4 anymore. Okay, yeah, you have meaningful protection. Let's change that. Yeah, none of the enemies here are Eldritch. I still have Sacrificial Stab in case I need it. And, yeah, dodge or stun resistance increases upon repeated stuns, but move resistance does not increase upon repeated moves. So I can just keep knocking this guy back all day, forcing him to use Stumbling Scratch or him to use Trot Retreat every turn. But even when he's all the way forward, he can't escape Sniper Shot, because there are downsides to being big. And completely missing the Sacrificial Stab. Sniper Shot, on the other hand, finds its mark.
Perhaps a turning point.
As usual, we have to deal with Glorp for the old gods. But the stun resistance is reverted to normal. And finish him.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
Okay. This isn't a quest location, but this is, like I said, this is a pretty generous map layout. And this is an enemy team composition that really is pretty resistant to this team composition for me. Really glad Spit missed. Okay. Come on, you can do better than that. Vilhardane, show him how it's done.
Another one
like that.
falls.
And, because yeah, the web is meaningless now. I assume that the webbers can't exploit their own marks, but I might be wrong.
Executed with impunity.
Alright, just stick with weird reconstruction. Yeah, weird reconstruction's healing range does weird things to critical hits. So I got a critical healing and it restored 10 HP, and then I didn't get critical healing and it restored 13.
Cleansed from our lands.
I'm guessing it calculates the amount of healing, and after it's done that, it decides whether or not you got a critical hit and modifies whatever it calculates.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
This really, looking at this layout, it really doesn't feel like the layout of a long mission. Though I suppose there could be some significant backtracking depending on how much scouting we get. And I suppose the real difficulty of the mission largely is determined by where exactly the shrines are. This is just a curio. So this is our first quest location. Oh, down this way then. Okay. Disarm that. Reduce stress of the only person who has any stress. Ah, bandits. Okay. 3 bandits is too many. Let's see if we can turn that into 2 bandits. Okay, unfortunately, this means I can't really afford to use Rampart, so let's use Crush and Miss. And Hound's Rush. Okay, how much? Only 1 to 2 damage from suppressing fire, so yeah, we're gonna need Sniper Shot. Once again, Vilhardane showing everyone how it's done. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to deal with point blank shot. Yep. Yep, point blank shot. And now they get back-to-back turns. Let's make the Fusilier go away. Sacrificial stab just to wear him down a little bit. And release the Hound!
Obliterated.
Right. And despite being double-sized, the Bloodletter has no protection.
Impressive.
And the Man-at-Arms decides to prove that he is more than just a damage sponge. He can actually hit people.
The sharpened blade.
I'm not gambling on that yet because heirloom chests often only contain heirlooms. Sometimes they have other stuff, but... Corpse Eater and a large Corpse Eater. Okay, I'm going to try to get rid of the regular Corpse Eater first just so that it's not a threat anymore. Like that.
A devastating blow.
Mercy is for the courts. And let's just go with Crush. And now I can use vulnerability hex on this one. I choose to imagine that Vilhardane really likes fighting double-sized enemies because their size completely removes the only disadvantage of Sniper Shot.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
You know, I realize that it's just automatic for that to be said, but it really seems appropriate considering the fact that that enemy died in 1 round, specifically because of its size. If it had occupied only 1 square, it would actually have been challenging to take it down, but because it occupies 2, it couldn't escape from Sniper Shot.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Curio, battle, Curio, quest location, Curio, obstacle, Curio, quest location. Okay, so I'm going to circle around the outside so I come to the secret door last. That way I can use up the remaining pickaxes and possibly the firewood before we get to the chest, the hidden room, and get these heathens.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
So citrine, yeah, a full stack of citrine is worth less than a full stack of gold, so I'll trade the citrine for the gold. And it's time for some violence. Nothing else in this room, but, well, sometimes violence is its own reward. Especially in RPGs. Except not really in this game, because you don't get experience from combat, you just get experience from completing missions.
Decimated.
It is actually kind of funny. In a lot of RPGs, they try to use, like, fighting enemies as a punishment. If you mess something up, and so the penalty for having messed something up is that you get attacked by a group of enemies. But it never quite works, because in most RPGs you get experience from fighting enemies, so being attacked by enemies is kind of a good thing. So it is kind of interesting that the two games I'm playing right now, this and System Shock 2, don't give you experience for defeating enemies, so it actually works to give you enemies as like to have throwing enemies at you be like a penalty or a hazard that you have to deal with. So, like in this game, there's no reward, other than possibly getting loot, there's no real reward for fighting extra enemies. And so it makes the enemies a lot more threatening than they would be in a normal RPG. System Shock 2 kind of does the same thing.
Press disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
It actually does it also goes a long way towards making the games actually kind of scary.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
A significant element in like horror games is that you want to make fighting something that the player really wants to avoid. Alright. Wish I'd hit the corpse eater, but it didn't. Let's see if we can knock it into range of sniper shot. And we can. There we go.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Yep. Balcomer sets him up, Vilhardane knocks him down.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
What would I drop for the Onyx? I'll drop the dog treats. We're unlikely to need them. Partially because I keep forgetting to use them, and partially because, well, they're useful. The enemies we're fighting are not that dangerous.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
And here we go. And more fighting. So scouting doesn't tell you whether or not there's a battle at a quest location. Alright, yes, vulnerability hex. And sniper shot. Give him the old 1-2. See if we can blackjack the swine car. Yep. And now it's Rampart's turn. Nobody is marked. Well, in that case... Yeah, and target whistle reduces the target's protection. Personalities need Vilhardane not to be stunned, and she performs ably in that regard. I like that Campion heals some people. And 10 to 23, so I pretty much need a critical. And I have one.
Destroy them.
Naturally. It's like she's responding to me saying I need a critical.
A singular
Speaking of criticals, not to be outdone. The Man-at-Arms would like to remind us that while he is a main tank, he does actually know how to hit people with that mace. Alright, vulnerability hex. Yeah, the elevated critical chance against marked enemies is incredibly helpful from Sniper Shot. And once again, stunning him is the most useful thing you can do. I know the Man-at-Arms knows how to hit people, but really just inflicting stun is the most useful, is one of the more useful functions of that class. And he's done. The bleeding damage will finish him off, so let's focus on healing. Yes, I am stalling for time now. Interestingly, oh right, Battlefield Bandage only buffs healing received. That still could make it a pretty good healing ability under the right circumstances.
Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Okay, I can't... I'm just gonna have to drop the contents of that loot. Alright. And we're venturing into the unknown. The one area on the map we don't have scouting for. And we have to deal with Gorers. And they're all in stealth, and here I am, not having prepared, I've never had this happen before. We have an entire enemy team, and they're all in stealth at the beginning of the fight at the same time. I've never encountered this before. So now I essentially need to stall for time. And he has to suffer some stress. How many turns do I have to stall before they run out of,
mortality
stealth?
clarified in a single strike.
Because this could be a problem. I forgot to re-equip, or I didn't really forget. I just didn't think I needed it. I didn't bring, Rallying Flare. Okay, the stealth is starting to wear off, so we can actually fight now. But that's new. We've been ninja'd. We've basically, we just got attacked by swine ninjas that just attacked from stealth and ambushed all of us. Alright. Also, welcome to the first enemy to avoid vulnerability hex. Sniper's mark, then. Hook where it hurts. The Houndmaster has been hooked in the Man-at-Arms. Well, let's get Retribution going. It won't do much, but it will do something. So at some point, I am going to need to heal the Man-at-Arms. But for now... So we have Target Whistle, which will also reduce his rather impressive level of protection to a significantly less impressive level. What is your guys' issue with the Houndmaster? Like... have you targeted anyone else this fight?
Soothed. Sedated.
Okay, and the Ancestor decides to tell a massive lie. Soothed, sedated, as the weird reconstruction restores 0 hit points and inflicts bleeding. You know, you've said some... You've definitely lied a lot over the years to various people to try to get your stuff going, but... that is probably the worst lie you have ever told, Ancestor. You trying to spin that as like he's being healed by his comrade. No, he's not. He has just as few hit points as he had before, and now he's bleeding. Okay, that's better. That's what we're looking for from weird reconstruction. Yeah, the Ancestor decides
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Yeah, the Ancestor decides to prove that he will spin anything. And, you know, let's make camp. We're right before the last quest location. The torch levels... You know, we're actually in pretty good shape. Let's get to the last quest location and then rest up before going home. Okay, stashed heirlooms we don't need. A shrine we can't... idle thing we can't do anything about. And a quest location. Oh. No enemies in this one. I was expecting there to be enemies. No pigs. I was promised pigs. Alright, let's continue adventuring. Now, we can afford to make camp.
Huddled together.
To feast.
Furtive and vulnerable.
Get almost everyone's stress down to 0.
Maze.
Hound's Watch. Encourage. And not really any reason to do anything else. We can just rest. Everyone's stress is
As the
0.
light gains
Everyone's health
purchase,
is maxed out.
Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
So, for the last little bit of this so we're gonna go. Wait, we're leaving this mission with full health and 0 stress. Like, we may as well not even have gone on this mission except we gained experience.
The flow of otherworldly corruption.
Okay, let's just take a moment to appreciate this. This might be the most successful mission we have ever had. In addition to getting 3 trapezahedrons, a tapestry, and some other jewels, and completing the mission, full health across the board, 0 stress across the board.
Robbed of their ridings, the swine will grow ever more ignorant. If such a thing were possible.
Yeah. That doesn't usually go that well, and that's in addition to the 6,700 gold reward for the mission. And 2 new champions emerge. Let's see what quirks we got. Okay, so Valance is going to need to be treated. So Valance, that would make him the only one who can't go, he's the only one who couldn't go on another mission immediately because of the bad humors.
The twisting tunnels no longer exhale the toxic stench of degeneracy.
Okay, so we got fresh air in the tunnels. We also have some diseases we need to treat. But, so the plan is just to go back into the tunnels now that we also have a resolve experience bonus, because we can just keep training people up there. Let me see what the stagecoach has for me. Nothing I'm looking for. So the next thing to do is to get the remaining people who haven't gotten stress treatment to get stress treatment. That does include the people who can't go back to the darkest dungeon, because I still might need them for something else. Alright, anybody else? Okay, everybody is getting their stress treated. Let's see about see if there are any trinkets that are particularly useful. The tenacity ring. This could be very helpful. Plus 10% death blow resistance and plus 5 dodge at the cost of reduced critical rate. On the right hero, that could be fine. This would be great for a man-at-arms, for instance, since his main job is just to take hits and survive. It could also be useful on actually an occultist, because the occultist's job isn't to inflict damage, it's to inflict status effects, but with the tenacity bonus, and to heal, but with the tenacity bonus, it makes up for the fact that the occultist is a very fragile character. So he's more likely to survive if his health is low and he can dodge. I definitely want this, especially since it isn't hero specific. Okay. Sort by level, because higher level heroes get priority. So let's see if anybody has any. Alright, let's get Altard some treatment. Let's get rid of one of these quirks. Let's get rid of Paranormania. And I'm going to actually lock in Manslayer also, because anything that increases a leper's accuracy is helpful. So, let's see, T-Nell. I'm tempted to lock in Irrepressible to go along with Eldritch Slayer and Unyielding. I'm inclined to bring her to the next Darkest Dungeon run just because she has so many between Eldritch Slayer and Unyielding, she has a very large advantage in damaging the Eldritch. Or let me try that again, because that's not what I... Okay. Remember how to talk. So, Eldritch, a lot of the enemies in there are Eldritch, so the accuracy and critical bonus against Eldritch could be really helpful in the Darkest Dungeon. And Unyielding is always helpful, but especially for a frontline class that's as fragile as a Hellion is. Okay, I know what the next one is. Hind is getting his weak grip on life fixed. Get a grip, Hind. Preferably on life. Okay. Well, Hind is in the sanitarium learning to get a grip, and we've pretty much spent all of the gold, so time to go back to the Warrens. So I can get Padlock of Transference at 4,500 gold, Hell's Hairpin and 9,000 gold, or a Restraining Padlock and 9,000 gold. Let's see, so these... Campion shouldn't really be able to go on a champion mission. So... Why is it letting me, Why is it letting me go even though I have a level 3 occultist? I shouldn't be able to take a level 3 occultist on a champion level mission. Let's see, who would I replace him? I should, even if I'm allowed to, I shouldn't bring a level 3 occultist on a champion mission, so I'm gonna bring Talvis instead as our main healer. Heavy metal. But I'd say that this is a perfectly viable team composition. So, step 1, unequip all trinkets. And for our man-at-arms, let's sort by character class restriction. You get a Rampart Shield, and instead of the Cleansing Eye Patch, I'm giving you the Ancestor's Portrait. Because the 50%, you're the lowest level, and I do actually want a reasonably experienced man-at-arms for the Darkest Dungeon. Now for the Crusader... Going in, I'm not equipping the Holy Orders because the reduced blight resistance would probably be a mistake. Let's go with the Paralyzer's Crest and the Swordsman's Crest. For the Vestal, let's go with the Sacred Scroll and the Tome of Holy Healing. And for the Arablest, definitely the... let's go with... Now that we have a proper main healer, let's go with the Wrathful Bandana and the Bullseye Bandana. Alright. There's Mace Bash with Judgment and Hand of Light with Divine Grace. Smite, Zealous Accusation, Stunning Blow, and Inspiring Cry. I could give him Holy Lance, but not this time. And the Man-at-Arms is fresh from the previous mission. It is a champion level mission. We are bringing someone who's level 4, so we're taking a bit of a risk. But the the fresh air in the tunnels should make a difference there. That should give us at least a better chance of surviving this experience. Bring plenty of food. That should be enough food. And shovels. May as well bring another extra holy water. And here we go. I feel a little nervous that the game decided to give me that hint in this situation. Like, you know, you can run away.
Quickly down there in the dark, but perhaps we can slay them even faster.
Okay, looks like backtracking to some degree is going to be inevitable with this layout, but it should be relatively little. Yeah, we're already... That did a lot. Okay, Sniper's Mark on the ghoul. And Smite on the ghoul. Yeah, unfortunately, the Arablest is going to be significantly less useful without other heroes that can either mark enemies or exploit marks. And the stress levels are already... Our stress economy is already worse than it was at any point during the last... You know...
Even the boldest gaze.
On the one hand, it seems weird to me that he managed to catch a disease from Howl. On the other hand, if howling at someone is going to give them a disease, I suppose it's appropriate that that disease is the worries. Well, crush the source of your problems. Might as well take a shot at it. Didn't work, but it was worth trying. Unfortunately, the ghoul is rather durable. Ow.
Quickly the tide turns.
And I was hoping that would be more dramatic than that. Oh, we've encountered like a...
The birthplace of dread.
We're fighting against like a ghoul vocalist. All it does is howl. Like, seriously, Mr. Ghoul person, you're gonna wear out your voice if you keep howling like that.
Cursed champion.
Or we could just kill you, that's also possible. Go for some stun. And a little more stun. Okay, and this time we stun. Battlefield Bandage won't do a lot, but it will do something. The buff is actually more useful since it increases healing received.
Masterfully executed.
Crushed by justice. Keep it up with Battlefield Bandages. I have a plan.
The blood quickens.
Unfortunately, I won't get to do it. Well, let's just use Inspiring Pride then. Unfortunately, that thing gets to live for another turn because I forgot that the ghoul was double wide. I was hoping to finish the pig off after knocking him back.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
Well,
Press this advantage.
Villardane has been kind of sitting in the background doing nothing for a while. Let's give her a chance to be cool. Let's also change her abilities up a little bit. Let's trade Suppressing Fire for Bola. Since Bola can hit enemies in the front two positions so that she has something to do when only the front runners are still standing. And partially because I do kind of need to build her differently if I don't have another mark user. Okay, how do I want to do this? I have an idea. So step one, we want to try to keep knocking the Slayer back. We want to keep the Swinotar locked into position 1 so that we can use, so that we can force it to use Trot Retreat, and at the same time, to the extent that we can, we want it to be stunned. And then I just want to focus on taking the champion out fast. Taking the Swinotar out fast. So I'm going to use... Oh. Decided against Trot Retreat. And Talvis is not having a good day. Talvis is really not having a good day. Oh, get some healing. And yet another backhand. In that case, just use Crush because we don't want to knock it back. Just use Smite for fundamental. Actually, I probably should have used Stunning Blow.
Impressive.
Okay, just one more round and the Swinotar is gone. Unfortunately, the Slayer has decided to prove that he's more than just a tank and can hit perfectly well by himself. He's the real threat. The Swinotar is just an inconvenience at this point. Oh. Get some healing. Get some smiting. Every day is a good day for smiting.
Weakened.
And yeah, just Talvis just needs to keep up with the healing for now. And that Slayer is just having at our back now. There is a plan. So now that the Swinotar is all the way in the back, I can fail to kill him with sniper shot. I'll start wearing down the heaver. And in our second fight of the mission, someone's resolve is tested. Yeah, I'd be pretty hopeless too if I was on this mission.
No hope at all.
Okay, crush. Okay, let's actually finish it off with sniper shot this time.
Does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Yeah, this mission is this mission has gone sideways rather quickly. Not meant to continue. Well, okay, I guess I won't be using Inspiring Cry then.
Continually onslaught. Destroy them all.
Okay, all that's left is the Slayer, who is determined to prove that he is capable of doing this job all by himself. And he's doing a good job of proving that, too. Of course, I really brought this situation on myself because I took the hero with the lowest resolve level, whose resolve level is low enough that he really isn't supposed to be even on this mission, and I gave him a trinket that increases stress. Wonderful strategist I am. Let's go with Judgment. And keep the Inspiring Cry going. I doubt I'm going to be able to get his stress down to 0, but reducing it is always good. That Slayer is fast, or we're just really slow. Its speed is only 5, but it managed to go first. Alright. Here, staunch the flow.
The light. The promise of safety.
Vilhardane really isn't doing so well this time.
Confidence
she's doing
surges
okay.
as the enemy crumbles.
And yep, killing him with Rampart isn't really meaningfully different from killing him with Crush. I'm just gonna not touch the Eldritch Altar. Room battle with Curio, room battle with Treasure, nothing. Okay, so we're gonna go this way. And our first blockage.
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
That I never really thought about the implications of that until just a moment ago. The tunnels predate even the earliest settlers. So who built them? The old who built these tunnels that predate even the earliest settlers? Okay. Sniper's mark on the champion. Stunning blow on the champion. Dazzling light on the Swinotar. Dazzling light on the Swinotar. Okay, let's Rampart the Slayer to see if we can get the Swinotar into position 1 in the hopes that he uses Trot Retreat. And we finally managed to stun something too.
The will to fight falters.
And more vomit.
A singular strike.
And Vilhardane has apparently got her groove back. That was the critical hit that we needed. The Swinotar's stress... Okay, we did force it to use Trot Retreat. Unfortunately, now most of us can't actually reach it. So, just smite the Heaver. we're actually in a bit of trouble because the Arablest has lost some of her damage bonuses now that she's not in position 4 anymore. Okay, I have an idea.
Their formation is broken.
And they resisted being moved. The enemies are unmoved. Right, let's just stun the Slayer. That's something that we can do. And we're just going to have to deal with Big Spear. Which somehow didn't cause him to move forward, which means he can do it again. So start by knocking the Slayer back 1, and I can knock the Slayer back more later. Hardane, just get back into position for now. One of you needs to spend your turn moving, and the Vestal can't afford to do it because we need her healing people. Alright. And he resisted it, because of course he resisted it. Well, smite. We need the healing, and I used the wrong healing ability. Yeah, that's... Congratulations, guys. That's the level of commander that you signed up to serve under. I accidentally gave the wrong order. Ouch. And it's a critical hit, so he's bleeding for 5 rounds now.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Okay, that's the end of at least one corpse, so now everyone can target the Swinatar. Alright, this time I actually want Divine Grace.
Compassion is a rarity.
Would have liked it to heal a little more than that, but we'll be okay. Okay, now that it's just one enemy, this is manageable-ish.
Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
What? That was weird. Well,
a momentary abatement.
Start by Divine Gracing the Crusader. Okay, Mr. Swinatar Champion, I just have to ask, what is your problem with Gilpin? What did Gilpin ever do to you? Because he has just been focusing the Crusader this whole time. Okay, Battlefield Bandage heals 0. However, the buff to healing received will actually make a difference, and let's get a second of that buff. Now, even if it's just Divine Comfort, Gilpin receives extra healing. Because that is, in fact, what a bonus to healing does. Oh, great, and now he's marked in addition to everything else.
Pummeling.
Okay, we managed to stun the Swinatar. That's a step. Ooh, that's the kind of healing numbers I like to see. Just keep Talvis, I just need you to heal through that shit. You can only move one space at a time. Now go for Sniper Shot and get yet another critical. Keep healing. And we're back into formation, mostly. And as soon as Gilpin is within reach, the Swinatar is already attacking. Did he... What? Seriously, what did Gilpin do to piss you off, Swinatar?
The wounds of war can be healed.
Like, this seems oddly personal for you. Okay, and he's decided to pass. I'm also going to go for Inspiring Cry. Mainly because I don't want the old guy to have a heart attack. Nice stun there. Stunning someone with 115% stun resistance.
A momentary abatement.
To diminish the stress a little bit, because Vilhardane can pretty much finish the job by herself at this point. Except that the Swinotar is faster than all of us, and I kind of forgot that fact.
The wounds of war can
13.
be
That's a
healed,
pretty good healing number.
but never hidden.
Okay. And Crush missed. Fortunately,
A
Sniper
victory.
Shot didn't.
Perhaps the turning point.
Gotta drop the citrine for the rubies. Not doing anything with that sacrificial stone.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Okay, so the next question is, so how many more room battles are there? Because if there are too many, we could be in trouble.
The way is
Well,
lit. The path
there's at
is
least
clear.
2 more.
We require only the strength
And
to
yet
follow
another
it.
Swinotar. It is just Swinotars all the way down here. Alright. Start by stunning it.
As the light
attempting to
gains
stun it.
purchase, spirits are lifted,
9 to
and
19.
purpose is made clear.
So, Vilhardane can't take out the witch in 1 round, but she can definitely take her out in 2. Meantime, let's just wear the Swinotar down a little bit while trying to keep it stunned. Stressful incantation, yeah, that is a dry well. You're not going to be able to make him have a heart attack just yet.
Exposed to a killing blow.
Oh, that's a problem. Because now she can't use Sniper Shot. 165% stun resistance. Yeah, you're not stunning that. Just heal it. Why can't I just finish it? Okay, Rampart did everything I could have hoped for. That means I can't reach him with the Crusader. How should I go for Inspiring Cry? It would be really nice if I could get the Man-at-Arms out of being afflicted, but the odds of that happening are small. Go for Dazzling Light. It's worth a try. Yeah, I'd say them summoning a tentacle through a mysterious portal definitely qualifies as the force of devilry. The stun resistance is still only 115%, but it's enough. Okay, fortunately the team knows when to duck. Well, they got hit by... Then again, it's kind of appropriate. They got hit by Pig Spears so many times in the last fight that they've pretty much learned that move. Continue attempting to dazzle the Swinotar. And failing. Should Bola this guy back. Okay. He can't use Pig Spear or Boar Rush anymore. Now all he can do is Crippling Backhand, because that is so much better. Okay. Just finish off the cultist. Apparent or not. Or don't finish off the cultist. Okay, we reduced him temporarily to using Stumbling Scratch, and you know what? Judgment also missed. That cultist has plot armor, I swear. Fortunately, Vilhardane cares not for your plot armor shenanigans. Go for a little bit of Inspiring Cry. Get some inspiration and improvement. And now it's just a matter of gradually disassembling the Swinotar piece by piece. We're not going to be able to take this thing out quickly, but there isn't a whole lot it can do to us anymore. Just keep it stunned as much as possible while gradually wearing it down. Unfortunately, with base stun resistance of 115%, I used the wrong healing ability again. What is my problem today? I just keep accidentally grabbing Divine Comfort when I mean, or Divine Grace when I mean Divine Comfort. Well, yeah, they're apparently learning the Swinotaur's patterns because they keep dodging its moves this time. Like, oh, yep, this is crunching backhand. I know when to duck to avoid this one. Okay. Man-at-Arms is stunned. Not really a big deal. Actually, I'll let this fight go for one more round and gamble that I can get a better outcome if I do that. Still sticking with the group heal, kind of against my better judgment. One more hit will do it, and I'm gonna let the Man-at-Arms do the honors. That was a bad call. Then again, bad calls are kind of my brand. Alright, get some healing in. Though, considering the fact that the backhand missed, it ended up benefiting us.
The greater the glory.
You know? Okay, and without scouting, that means I'm going to have to go to this room and investigate it. See if there are any swine in there.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Let me interact with this. Alright. Use some holy water on pile of bones.
Wealth beyond measure.
Oh!
Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy
That just got us loot. I was expecting it to, like, reduce stress or give a buff or something. Okay, no swine here, but we've located another room battle. There are quite a few. We may have fresh air in the tunnels, but they're going to make us work to finish this mission. Alright, let's do this room battle, and then we're probably going to make camp soon, because we need to reduce the stress levels a bit. Everyone's starting to get a little dysfunctional. Yeah, the cultist witch is going to survive for 2 rounds, most probably, so let's just stun her. Rampart the champion. The militia I can safely ignore. But the champion needs to die. Bump in the night. Yeah, bump in the night does basically nothing. Oh, it does inflict a debuff. Okay, so one more sniper shot on the witch is done. In the meantime, the Man-at-Arms and the Crusader can do fun things to the champion with their swords. And the Vestal's decided she wants to get in on that. Unfortunately, the Man-at-Arms occasionally skipping his turn can create some problems. And bumpity-bumpity bump in the night. Okay. Especially go for Inspiring Cry.
The match is
so at this point, the Crusader is so concerned with the Crusader is so concerned with the teammates' stress that he's not really concerned with his own. Ooh, critical Inspiring Cry. Let's actually just heal the Crusader.
Compassion
into
is a
better
rarity
shape.
in the fevered pitch of battle.
So, actually, the Bone Militia has at least some usefulness, because the thing is, Bump in the Night reduces the target's evasion. So the idea is they do almost no damage, but they make you more susceptible to what their teammates will try to do too.
Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Or a sack full of potentially useful stuff.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
Okay. And another fight. And a swine skiver. Okay, this is going to be a significant problem. Okay, so how do we want to do this? So, this is really not the team to try to take on a swine skiver. Start with Sniper's Mark. It's going to take a couple of turns to get rid of it. Cripple them.
Death
Ooh.
waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
So it was intended to inflict blight and debuffs, and instead it just did damage. Lots and lots of damage. Okay, 10 to 19. Okay, so 15. So now I need Crush to do 14, which it can't do. So I need one more attack to get rid of the Thunderer, but Zealous Accusation will do it.
Unnerved, unbalanced.
Looks like everyone's resolve is going to be tested this mission. Alright. Heal the Crusader so he at least doesn't die when his resolve is tested. But this time it didn't get a critical. Not that that matters much. It did plenty of damage even without a critical. Okay. Begin taking apart the Skiver. A critical hit or two would be greatly appreciated, Vilhardain. I really should have used Defender there. That was just add it to the pile of bad decisions I made this mission. And that's why. Because, well, okay, it missed this time, but I really should be defendering the Crusader right now. So just get him some healing. And the healing is immediately munched away. Anti-Venom? Smite. Okay, that's at least 2 fewer enemies that we have to deal with. And the mark is already worn off. Okay, Defender. That's what we need you to do right now. You have a lot of health, he has very little health. You need to share the health. Alright. Spit Roast. Oh, and he's stunned, which means he's not defendering anymore. And congratulations, the Crusader is on death's door. At least he's not bleeding. Let's go for the healing. We need the Crusader off of death's door as quickly as possible. And you can still use Sniper Shot. And this time it just completely missed. Oh. And Gilpin has decided that he is just done playing. He is getting serious about this fight. For now, we need healing now. We can worry about long-term problems later. And Hook Where It Hurts isn't really that damaging when it's the only thing the enemy can do. So let's just focus on getting a little bit.
A dizzying blow to body.
Apparently, Hook Where It Hurts is actually quite damaging, even when it's the only thing that the enemy can do. I'm just going to do a little bit of healing and a little bit of defendering. Alright. Aside from the Vestal who needs to keep healing people, it's time to finish this thing off. You move forward. And smite for all you're worth. Just missed it by this much, but we are going to actually have to take away his last hit point because the enemy can't run away. It would actually be kind of neat if, like, when I used the wrong healing ability again. It is just not my day. And it's entirely my own fault, too. But okay, that's the end of him, at least.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Okay. What's worth dropping? I don't think anything. I think we already have a Worry Stone at home. Okay, so we definitely need to make camp, and at least we have successful scouting this time. And it reveals this is the last battle. Okay, this is the last room battle that we have to fight. So we're gonna make camp now. We're going to feast.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
And we're going to try to recover from the damage caused by the long series of bad decisions that I lovingly refer to as leadership. Alright. Start with Prey. Next is Zealous Speech. And we're out of time. Okay, we've got the stress at least somewhat under control. The Man-at-Arms is still afflicted, though. But we have one more fight. That's all we have to deal with. I think we can make it through this. Alright.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Let's just eat to restore everyone's health as much as possible. Just eat until everyone is full. There's no reason to hold on to food at this point. Alright, just quick, a nice early lunch before we head off to our final battle in this mission. Oh, should have used someone with a higher trap
Mechanical
hazards
hazards possessed by evil intent.
Okay. Last fight, and another Swinatar. Apparently the enemy just got a bulk discount on Swinatars this week. Or is this like a festival that I don't know about? Swinatar Appreciation Week. Knock the Slayer back. Snipers. Actually, probably should have just had her take out the Thunderer. Because Doom! Yeah, and then moving people around didn't really matter a whole lot because he just used Trot Retreat anyway. Let's see if we can dazzle him. And more Doom! Every day is a good day for Doom. But this means that the Man-at-Arms and the Crusader can gang up on the Thunderer. Not sure how much good it'll do, but they can at least try. And yeah, the enemy has apparently gotten the hang of ducking Pig Spear. It's like in action games where the enemy has that one really powerful attack that's actually really easy to dodge once you get the hang of it. So, like, it seems really overpowered until you get used to knowing when to duck. That's basically what's happened to them with Pig Spear at this point. Unfortunately, the well has apparently run dry when it comes to Vilhardain's critical hits, at least for now. And no matter how good you are at dodging an attack, every once in a while you still fall for it. Still have Smite equipped, and still have Miss equipped too, apparently. Comes to ability. What debuff does that? Oh, marks the target. That could be a problem. That's definitely a problem. Okay, let's just heal the... In theory, let's heal the Vestal. Well, she gets increased healing now.
Terrible vistas of emptiness reveal
Okay,
themselves.
so bandage, and with the increased healing, she gets 10 hit points from Divine Grace. Not too bad, since it's only Divine Grace 4. And Boar Rush on the guy who isn't marked. And Gilpin has finally managed to smite something. You know, being a Crusader and not being able to smite things is a real problem. It's kind of the whole thing Crusaders are about, is smiting things. And without Sniper's Mark, I do even less damage to the Swine.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Okay, this one at least didn't inflict bleeding, but she's now going to have her resolve tested. And she's paranoid. Okay, that's 2 people
the walls
afflicted.
close in. The shadows whisper of conspiracy.
Okay. Fortunately, the enemy is not cooperating with each other effectively. If they were, they would have targeted the Vestal with that Boar Rush. As is, that's the end of our turn, because the 2 people who still had actions are stunned. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so in her paranoia, Talvis is refusing to be healed. Well, I hope you know how to duck, then. And I hope you have a lot of faith in your death blow resistance. Okay, heal yourself now. There. Alright, not being on death's door is good, which is why the enemy wants to take that away from me. Now we just need to take out the Slayer. Unfortunately, this team composition is not really all that... I used the wrong ability again. What is... Unfortunately, this team composition has trouble taking down durable enemies. My position was ill-chosen. Well, I chose your position. Get back in there. Though I'm going to be honest, concluding that a position I chose was ill-chosen, you know, I find that hard to argue with, considering what all has been happening. Whoa.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
That's 3 people at death's door. Fortunately,
Perched
that's
at
the end of the round.
precipice of oblivion.
Okay, he can't do that anymore, at least, because the corpse disappeared. Okay, focus on the vet. That was spectacularly unhelpful. Oh. And the man-at-arms continues to be at death's door because he declined healing. Alright, just keep up with sniper shots. We need the Swinotar to die. Right. Okay, that time he let himself be healed and nobody's at death's door anymore. I'm gonna be honest, I expected that to hit and to put him back on death's door just to spite me. Wait a minute. When the Swinotar champion is in the middle of the pack, he can only use trot retreat? We don't want him in the front. We don't want him in the back. We specifically want him in, like, position 2 and 3. Though I suppose when he's in that position, he'll use trot retreat and then get into another position. But that gives me an idea.
Surgical precision.
I mean, there's nothing I can really do with it right now, but this is rather exploitable.
Intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Okay, now we just need to get rid of the Slayer. Alright. And he skipped his turn, which also means that I can't treat his bleeding. Well, and judgment rolls low, so the Slayer gets to live. Well, Bola should win. Nope, apparently not. But getting a critical hits on the corpse did improve morale, at least. She really nailed the enemy that was already dead. Okay, crush. Okay, there we go. Well, Balkamar, welcome to champion missions.
And
let's return to the hamlet.
some experiments should have never happened. You are doing just work ending them.
Some experiments should have never happened. I'm carving that on your gravestone, ancestor. That is going to be your epitaph. Some experiments should have never should have been conducted. Whoa, and everybody's up to level 6. The stress levels are a bit high. Okay, second wind isn't really that good. Warren Scrounger is okay. Alright.
Let me share with you the terrible wonders I have come to know.
Nah, you know, you don't really need to share that with me. I know they say sharing is caring, but, you know, sometimes it isn't, and this is one of those times. Okay. Alright, now... if I were to go to the Darkest Dungeon, I'd want to have, let's see, I'd probably want a Man-at-Arms. Let me see something. So... suppose I brought... let's see, I'm thinking of an Occultist... an Occultist in position 3, an Arablest in position 4, a Vestal in position 2 with the Profane Scroll, and then a Man-at-Arms. I think that's a viable composition. See if the Nomad Wagon has anything useful. Let me see. Nope, nothing in particular. So let's start leveling up Corey, and that's already all I can afford to spend. Well, before the end of this episode, I'm going to do one more mission, and that mission is with a fairly specific goal. So I want Sasset to be level 6, and we don't have a level 6 Houndmaster, so I'm also bringing Valance to get him up to level 6. In addition, let's bring, Druel and Montfort. Law and order. Okay, so I could get the Ancestor's Handkerchief, which is 50% bleed and disease resistance, but that isn't really that helpful, and this would be an extra difficult mission. The Ancestor's Pistol, is that the pistol he used to commit suicide? That's dark even for this game, but increased accuracy of ranged skills isn't bad, but I don't need a long mission to get enough experience to get these heroes up to level 6. Let's see, the Wounding Helmet would be good if we had a Bounty Hunter. The Ancestor's Pen, on the other hand, the Ancestor's Pen could actually be really good. We're taking a bit of a risk, but we are at least sending in a team of champions. So let's do that. Unequip all trinkets. Sort. Alright. You get the usual. You get the spiked collar and the cudgel weight. Let's see. You get... We're not dealing with bleed or blight, so you can use the Holy Orders. And on top of that, I'll give you the Swordsman's Crest. You get the Rampart Shield, and you're going to have to cope with having the Ancestor's Portrait. Okay. And you're not in position... If you're going to be in position 3, you shouldn't have the Cudgel weight. Instead, I'll give you Hound's Harry, but instead, is the Hound considered ranged? Yep, the Hound is a ranged weapon, so let's see. Yeah, I'll give him the Fuseman's Matchstick to increase the Hound's accuracy and power. Okay. So, a couple of medicinal herbs because of the fish carcasses. Bring some bandages. A little anti-venom because there are a few curio interactions that use it. Mainly shovels. I don't need that many. Plenty of torches. And plenty of food. And while we're at it, let's bring a key or two. Okay, we will be essentially bankrupt if we don't manage to make some money off of this mission, so as usual, this is high on risk and low on intelligence, just the kind of missions I like.
These salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out.
You know, in hindsight, between how long this mission is and the experience bonus from having one of the people who's been in the darkest dungeon, I probably didn't need the portrait. So I suppose we can call that my first mistake. It probably won't be my last.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Okay. And we're here. And we already have a savage. Like a crusher, but worse. Light up a torch. I'm opening up a target whistle because I want to reduce its protection. Dazzling light. Yeah, stun resistance of 90%.
A blazing star is born.
Unto us a star is born. Unto us a stun is given. Alright. And a ceremonial cut, which does almost nothing. Unfortunately, the savage is out of range of the Crusader. Can't escape Hound's Rush, though. Unfortunately, it did a little bit less damage than I was hoping it would. Stun one of the Tide Masters. And let's kill the other Tide Master. Let's at least attempt to kill the other Tide Master. Ooh. And that critical means he's bleeding for longer. Fortunately, I've remembered to bring bandages.
Destroyed.
And Montfort has decided to vent his frustrations against the Tide Master. Okay. Only 90% stun resistance. You can stun it. Keep trying. It'll take a few hits, but when 3/4 of the team has an equipped stunning ability...
A singular strike.
The quarry falters. Okay, it took 3 tries, but we got the stun we were looking for. And since the Crusher is in position 2, we may as well just finish it off. Could repair the Crusader a little bit.
Their cursed champion falls.
And that just leaves the enemy's spellcaster all by himself in position 1. You know, Mr. Tide Master, this is the point where you run.
Success so clearly in view.
Okay, no idea
Or
what to
is
do
it
with the ship's
merely a
figurehead.
trick of the light?
And a hallway battle, and the good news is, it's not the Collector. Because, the thing is, if the Collector shows up, we're probably dead. Alright. He has 27 hit points, 4 to 8 damage, 5. There is method to my madness. Actually, it's not worth using one of the dog treats this early in the mission, but I want the madman down as quickly as possible. Crush. Yeah, the Man-at-Arms may be more accurate than the Man-at-Arms may be more accurate than the Leper, but not by very much. Seaward Slash. And Accusation. That could have some long-term negative consequences. Fortunately, one thing we did bring was stress management abilities. Okay, now I'm taking stress damage from him using Sea Breeze. Let's go with Divine Comfort for now. And now for a real stress management ability, Smite. Something is stressing you out, smite it.
Maintain the offensive.
Ooh. Okay, let's go for Crush.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Call of the Deep. If we can get rid of the remaining Piranha, we're okay. Unfortunately, that's kind of a big if. Smite does 13 to 24, so...
Decimated.
Yep, Montfort has decided to relieve his stress by smiting the source of his stress. Hound's Rush. The main thing is we really need some healing. Divine Grace. Okay, now I think I know why I kept accidentally clicking over here and using Divine Grace when I meant to use Divine Comfort. Because usually Divine Grace is in position 2, but it was in position 4. So I'm used to clicking over to position 4 to get Divine Comfort. And instead Divine Grace was in position, and I just played havoc with my muscle memory. Rampart against his relatively low stun resistance. And there we go.
Fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
And I'll drop the stack of 2 food in exchange for the citrine. Though I'm probably going to end up dropping the citrine at some point. Alright. Yeah. That quirk probably needs to be fixed. Though I'm not as... Though... Since I'm mainly preparing Drool to go into the Darkest Dungeon, and that kind of stuff isn't a problem in the Darkest Dungeon. Maybe not. And the Thrall is unholy. It's also gone. Now what we need is divine. What we need from you, Drool, is Divine Grace. Okay, only 80% bleed resistance. Unfortunately, I wasn't really expecting it to do quite that little damage. Speed -3. I never noticed that before. The maggot's speed is actually less than 0. Alright. And get another Seaward Slash. Well. Just keep healing the Crusader. And the Tide Master, never ceasing to create problems for me.
The ground quakes.
A devil's due.
Continue the onslaught.
And once again,
them all.
Once again, the enemy main healer is all by himself in the front line. I'd sympathize, but that stress wave depleted my sympathy. And I don't generally feel obligated to sympathize with people who are actively trying to kill me. Alright. Get some healing. Get some stress relief from the healing. And I may as well use Inspiring Cry, because once again, the Man-at-Arms has an abnormally high stress level.
Spirits are lifted.
This keeps happening.
And purpose is made clear.
Oh, I accidentally left the torch behind. Let's see if the heirloom chest contains anything in addition to heirlooms. It doesn't even contain heirlooms. An heirloom chest, an heirloom-free heirloom chest. All right. Ah, bandits. I'm assuming the bandits are here for the same reason we are, which is loot. Can we just split the loot with them and not fight them? Because, you know, I'm willing to make a deal with you guys.
The light,
where we
the
just
promise
split,
of safety.
where we work together to loot the place and then we just split the take. Let's just go with the Raider. Judgment, do a little more. Still have to do a slice and dice, though.
A dizzying blow to body and brain.
Of course, even if it doesn't inflict bleeding, it reduces bleeding resistance. Whoa. Crush on this one. Let's go with Hound's Harry. Get some bleeding some bleeding on all of them. And yep, the Crusader is once again in dire need of repair. Whoa. Okay, the Raider will die on his next turn. Unfortunately, these brigands have managed to cause some real trouble. Okay. I have a plan. And yet more blanket fire. And get more accuracy issues from the Man-at-Arms, the other constant in this game.
This is how a life is taken.
That will deal with the Fusilier. And that will deal with the Cutthroat.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay. A little bit of healing. And there we go.
Slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
How is the slow death unforeseen? I think the fast death would be the death that's unforeseen. You know, the slow death, you know it's coming, there's just nothing you can do about it. Unless you remember to bring
Glittering
bandages.
gold, trinkets and baubles. paid for in
Alright,
blood.
we're gonna need to make camp quite soon. Gonna make it to this room, and then after we deal with whatever's in this room, we're making camp.
Another mariner, another misfortune.
Whoa. Lack of scouting can be dangerous. Okay, I'll give this to the Crusader because he's taken slightly more damaged. Damaged? He's taken more damaged! Right. And... no idea what's in here. I'm actually going to move to this room and investigate it, and then we'll make camp. I'll loot this stuff on the way back out. Okay, I think I made the wrong call. Hopefully this isn't another ghoul vocalist. Dazzle the ghoul. We cannot. Okay, no, this ghoul isn't a vocalist. This ghoul is trying out for the shot put. I'm not used to the idea that using an irregularly shaped object like a skull in the shot put is a bad idea. We have to deal with 2 maggots for 1 round. And unfortunately, brine is potentially rather dangerous. Okay, okay.
The abyss.
Yep,
returns
more howling.
Even the boldest gaze.
Oh. Okay, this will do 3 to 6. Zealous Accusation will do 2 to 3. So Zealous Accusation will still kill the front maggot. Crush will not kill the rear maggot. Right. Divine Comfort. It is actually Divine Comfort this time. And it's still marked. Just keep rushing it. It's bleeding for a decent amount, too. Okay. We're basically there. Now we just need Zealous Accusation. The ghoul managed to cover its eyes in time to avoid being called a heretic.
Compassion
Now?
is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Close enough. And there we go.
The beast, the greater the glory.
And I found a whole bunch of heirlooms I don't need. I'm not sure whether I'm hoping there is a hallway battle or room battle here, or whether I'm hoping there isn't. Because on the one hand, if there isn't, it wasn't necessary to come here. On the other hand, if there is, it means we have to fight something. Oh. Wait, I was going to make camp in that room. And then I forgot what I was doing partway through doing it. Well, let's go back to that room and make camp. That way we can clear up some inventory space. Okay. Into the room. Light the firewood.
A
Feast.
moment of respite. A chance
Everybody's
to steal
health is pretty
oneself
much
against
good.
the coming horrors.
Alright, let's use Zealous Vigil. Reduce the Crusader's stress to 0, and also, Alright. Zealous Speech, reduce everyone's stress. I didn't mean to do that. I was gonna use Stand Tall, but I accidentally clicked on Rest
In
instead.
Radiance, may we find victory.
Use up the rest of the stack of food.
A
Clear up a bit more inventory
waiting to be
space.
spent.
And use the medicinal herbs. And we may as well eat the extra food we just found. Okay. Now we just need to deal with the other half of the dungeon. Add another one of these already. Let's see what you got for me. More
If only
onyx.
treasure
A
could
lot
staunch
more
the
onyx.
flow of otherworldly corruption.
Alright. Hopefully we run out of room battles at some point. We already appear to have run out of scouting.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Well, yeah, the challenge generally isn't finding the loot. The challenge is making off with it without being murdered. And a squiffy ghast. Crushing your dreams since whenever you first started taking on champion missions. Okay, Smite has a decent chance of one-shotting the Thrall. And Crush manages to finish the job. Ooh, shocking. Wait, does that mean the enemy wasn't surprised? Does that mean that we actually managed to move faster than the Stinger? That doesn't usually happen. And Octocestus. I'm gonna go with Dazzling Light, so like keep the ghast from moving backwards. That would be helpful. Unfortunately, I cannot. And he's back in position 3.
Gnawing uncertainty, the birthplace of dread.
Right. Yep, but he doesn't get his turn. Okay, let's see if you can one-shot the Stinger. Almost. Okay, just finish off the Stinger so that there's less space for the ghast. You would do that, wouldn't you? I swear, you do that just to spite me. And because it's a good idea. Well, I got a solution for you. Dazzling Light, which failed to stun, so it didn't interrupt your defended status. I'm actually just gonna go with Cry Havoc for now. Everyone benefits except the one who needed it. Alright, we need to take away that guarded status, and the only feasible way to do that is to stun the champion. Fortunately, this team has a lot of stunning abilities. Unfortunately, that 65% stun resistance is taking him really far. Okay. And now you can attempt to stun the ghast himself. The odds of that working are pretty low.
We require only the strength to follow it.
This is a time for a dog treat. And a Hound's Rush. This expedition is doomed. Right, Smite. Yeah, he's unholy. Unfortunately, once again, just like the previous mission, it looks like the Man-at-Arms is about to become afflicted. Well,
precision and power
for justice. Well, at least we're rid of the ghast. Use Inspiring Cry to undo some of the stress. Okay, finally a successful stun. A little bit of group healing. And now we can just kind of gradually disassemble the champion and we don't have to worry as much because the major threat is gone. Get some smiting action in there. And miss with judgment. Okay. And there we go.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Wonderful. So I don't have enough scouting to know whether or not there's a room battle in here. I can't afford to just gamble that there isn't one. So, yep, we're gonna be taking the long way around. Nothing must be left. Yeah, well... No, I didn't see you take the nothing. We're leaving the nothing behind. There was nothing in the sack, and the nothing that was in the sack is still in the sack.
Well struck.
Oh, let us finish the hunt. Well, since the Thrall hasn't taken damage...
Masterfully executed.
Since the Thrall hasn't taken damage, its self-destruct timer is deactivated. Alright, let's just heal.
Soothe. sedated.
Okay, we're taking the thrall out next turn. Fortunately, this is a relatively manageable team of enemies. Unfortunately, now is when Syset's resolve is tested. And he's masochistic.
Those who covet injury find it in no short supply.
Today is just the day of afflicted men-at-arms. Well, crush, and it missed. But smite shouldn't. There we go. Okay. Now we get to punish the Tide Master for doing that. Ceremonial Cut just deals damage. Whether or not Cry Havoc heals the reduces the stress of the Man-at-Arms specifically is pretty much up to luck. Though being masochistic is one of the less bad afflictions, I think. Really should have known Judgment would finish him off. Let's just heal the Man-at-Arms. Apparently we just kind of used up all of our good luck on the first mission. And so everything else has been going wrong since then.
A trifling victory.
It
But a
ditched the holy
victory
water.
nonetheless.
Okay. Running out of sturdy shovels. Pretty good for swarthy men, though. Okay, we have scouting, so we may not need to go all the way down there. Oh, we do need to. There's a room battle. And since we're going back through this hallway anyway, we may as well collect the loot later. Okay. What fish hell do we have here? Alright. Let's see, how do I want to do this? So in 2 turns, you can probably take that out if you start by marking it. The champion, there's not a lot we can do about the champion right now. Unfortunately, that spearfishing didn't really accomplish anything because it doesn't change, because both the Vestal and the Houndmaster can use all their equipped abilities in either position 3 or 4. Though there are very few abilities that absolutely require you to be in position 4. It's usually in groups of 2. So there are abilities that can be used in 3 and 4, abilities that can be used in 2 and 3, and abilities that can be used in 1 and 2. Unfortunately, a low damage roll means that the Piranha gets to live a bit longer. But if we can stun the champion, we've unguarded the Tide Master. Unfortunately, we can't really reach him. And Montfort pathetically smiting the champion for 3 damage. Okay, Call of the Deep. At least it wasn't Sea Breeze. That's good. Is he gonna do what I think he's gonna do? No, he didn't actually cause the move effect. I was thinking he was going to put us back into formation. %35% chance to stun. Correction, 25% chance to stun. Alright. Start with Divine Comfort. And I'm just gonna let the Houndmaster handle the Tide Master, you know, master versus master, I guess. And consider it handled. Go for some crush. there we go.
5 inches.
The bleeding would be very helpful, though he has pretty high bleed resistance. And yeah, he's gotten pretty masochistic. No need for stitches yet. That got creepy in a hurry. But apparently he's still willing to be inspired, which restores health somehow. That's good. We can still just inspire him into it. You know, talk about you have inspirational speaking. Well, the Crusader is an expert in inspirational medicine. And this thing is so close to done, I may as well just focus more on stress management. I am foolishly hoping to actually remove his affliction by reducing his stress to 0. The Octocestus not being a critical is a good step along that road. A little more inspirational medicine. And since he got his turn...
Death
Oh,
waits
that's unfortunate.
for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Blood is battle's most savory spice. Alright, I'll bandage you up and finish him off. Perfectly executed. Yeah, unfortunately, you're going to need some
Foolish
healing.
horrors. Brought
You can't do
low
anything
and
with the
driven
fish
into
idol.
the mud.
Okay, still have at least one more room battle, plus whatever is in these 3 rooms. But we're almost out of this. And then, you guys can go home and... Oh, god damn it. Damn it, Drool. We had medicinal herbs. Like, at least use, like, take the proper safety measures when investigating the fish carcass. Also, a trap just spawned in behind us. How? Actually, you know what? Things are flickering in and out of reality all the time. A tentacle monster periodically appears and then disappears on the world map when I look at the cove. Honestly, traps teleporting in, that really isn't that unreasonable by comparison. Okay. And we're out of shovels. I'm not going to risk the barnacle chest. So I decide not to risk bleeding, and they give me an Uea Savage. Like, don't want bleeding? I'll give you all the bleeding you can handle. Okay, I'll start by taking out the piranha, because that won't take very long. Oh. Wonderful. Okay, let's dazzle the piranha. I do need to take out the Savage, but there's a plan here, and that is Stunning Blow and Rampart can't reach the piranha, but Dazzling Light can. Okay. So nobody's dead, but everybody's stunned. Not a bad way to make them spend their first turn. Okay, that's our piranha problem is solved.
Such a terrible assault.
And that's spearfishing,
Nothing
deciding to be
unanswered.
just one last screw you.
Soothed,
Get some healing.
sedated.
Okay, we're not getting 140% stun resistance. We can't stun him anymore, so let's just smite him. If you can't stun him, smite him. Tidal Slam. Lovely. At least you resisted all the secondary effects. Okay, target whistle, mainly for the protection reduction. And at least this time the Man-at-Arms has seen reason and allowed himself to be healed. And let's see if we can stun this thing. Nope. Yeah, 90% stun resistance is no joke. 5 turns of bleeding for 10 is also no joke. Let's go back to healing everyone.
Sedated.
Give up with the Inspiring Cries, because we're almost down to where the Man-at-Arms is not afflicted anymore. Now that is a proper flanking. I lower my shield to invite more sport. Well, your shield isn't what I'm concerned with right now, it's your mace. Ho ho! Mercy is for the courts. Yeah, the Houndmaster
can be healed.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I think Hound's Rush is the only mark exploitation ability that can hit the entire battlefield. It can hit an enemy regardless of position. Every other mark exploitation ability has some restriction on who it can hit. Sniper Shot can't hit position 1. Collect Bounty can't hit positions 3 and 4.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharp blade.
The Houndmaster is actually one of the best mark exploitation characters in the game, I think. Especially since you can combine that with the dog treats for even greater damage boosting. And another Ghast. Well, Valance, I was just talking about how good of a mark exploitation character you are. Why don't you demonstrate that to them? Oh, right, and I didn't even notice, they also have a Cultist Witch. They're just gonna go with every kind of stress. Yeah, I said before that 90% stun resistance is no joke, and now we're up against 110%. Still worth trying, though. His stress is almost down to 0. If I can actually get his stress down to 0, then he won't be afflicted anymore. Okay, that isn't a critical, so it won't inflict stress. More! More! And he shouldn't really be stressed out by taking damage since he wants to take damage. Wait, Rampart only has 120... Wait. I didn't realize that Rampart only has 120% base stun chance against the Ghast, which has 90% stun or 110% base stun resistance. So he had a 10% chance to stun, and he actually pulled it off. He actually got the stun that we needed him to get. Okay, Inspiring Cry. And he's not afflicted anymore. And it's gonna take a lot for him to be afflicted. That might be the first time I've ever actually successfully de-afflicted someone. Let's see. Why did I use Dazzling Light on the Ghast? Reflex, I suppose. Eldritch Pull. Yeah, they're really messing with our positioning right now. Let's see what I can do about that. Let's see if we can turn this around. So step 1, get some healing in. Step 2. Okay, in one turn you can get us basically back into a range. Maddening Shanty is a lot less of a problem now that the Man-at-Arms isn't afflicted anymore. He's reclaiming the honor of his profession. Smite, if it hits, will do a lot. Unfortunately, we're having some accuracy issues right now. Barnacle Barrier is a problem that can wait. The Ghast is a problem that can't wait.
Festering fear consumes the mind.
This is going to end with the Man-at-Arms being the only one who's not afflicted. That's what's going to happen next. Everybody's stress level is kind of high. We're fighting against 2 different enemies with stress-causing abilities. That's the way this is going to end. That after they've been carting around the masochistic Man-at-Arms, at the end, we're going to leave the dungeon, and he's going to be completely normal, and everybody else is going to be afflicted. He's like, I don't know what those guys are talking about. It's fine. Everything's fine. So that's one stress dealer dealt with. Now we just need to deal with the other one. The damage isn't really a problem because of how durable this team is. I am going to use the dog treat. And they decided to trade bleeding for bleeding. Okay, how much damage? 7 to 14 from Zealous Accusation. Unfortunately, it missed. healing. Crush, and that also missed. Yeah, not the most accurate heroes. Okay, the Vestal's the next one in line for stress management. Perfect dazzling the champion. Or failing to dazzle the champion. And I'm just gonna go for Cry Havoc in the hopes that it hits the Vestal. Alright, that's good. That's a step. And let's just go with Zealous Accusation. Ho-ho! Alright, Rampart. And fail. Octocestus, on the other hand, is very successful. Okay, may as well just go for Smite. This one is just about wearing him down. Whoa.
Quickly the tide turns.
I can see that. We're out of bandages, too. Which means he's just gonna have to suck it up, bleeding, as he's slowly bleeding to death. Yep. Bleeding, losing the fluid that maintains your ability to live, walk it off. Just use some of that motivational medicine on yourself. That'll take care of it. Actually, the Vestal's stress level is being dangerously high again. And I clicked on the wrong target. I meant to hit the champion, not the corpse. Okay, that's the end of that. Alright. That's at least progress toward the end of the champion. Crush. Alright, we're almost there. We're almost there. It's a slow process. We're just grinding him down, but we'll get there. Alright, and smite. Okay, there we go.
Remind yourself that
And that was not the last room battle either.
An insidious killer.
Okay, we don't know about here, but there's at least one room battle there. Yeah, we're gonna need to make camp. And I'm gonna gamble that we don't encounter
gathered close
hunger.
in tenuous firelight and uneasy
Go
companionship.
for Zealous Vigil. Go for Zealous Speech. And Encourage and Stand Tall fundamentally do the same thing, but let's use Pray instead. Okay, so now it's just the Vestal who has a high stress level, and I can use Inspiring Cry to take care of that. Okay, just a little more, guys. I realize this mission has been a bit of an ordeal, but we're almost there. We're almost out of this. Just have one more battle we have to deal with minimal resources. And oh, wonderful. We're out of shovels, so I have to deal with an obstacle despite not having shovels. So there's a little extra
Without
trouble.
tools of iron, you must rely on flesh, an indefatigable purpose.
You know, I know what you probably mean, but considering some of the things that you've done with flesh, I'm not entirely comfortable thinking about the concept of tools of flesh around you, Ancestor. Rush. Okay, that's the stinger gone. Stun the one that you can stun, because we're not going to be able to kill it this turn. And it doesn't matter.
Exposed to a killing blow.
Alright, and the main healer is both stunned and is at a critical stress level. Let's reduce the maggot's protection a bit. Okay, and Drool's resolve is about to be tested. Let's see how she turns out. Selfish. So that's 4 resolve checks we've had
Self-preservation
this episode, and they've
at
all
any
come out
cost.
afflicted. 3 to 6, that's not going to be enough. May as well use smite. Okay. Let me kill it. Its soul must perish by my hand. Alright. Start by marking it, because that will also reduce its protection. That's the other thing. Target Whistle is partially useful because it isn't just a marking ability, since reducing protection is actually really helpful against a lot of enemies. Alright. Crush. Hopefully Drool is selfish enough to heal herself. And now, the Hound's Rush. 1 more of those and we're done. Unfortunately, we have to deal with yet another... Yeah, this is the, we had the Ghoul Vocalist before. This is the Ghoul Shot Put expert. He's training for to do the shot put in the Olympics. He's practicing throwing skulls. Alright. This may be the last fight. And we have I gotta admit, we're critically low on supplies. We have a lot of loot. We've had quite a haul this week. Alright. Let's just open up with some healing. So you can reach the Piranha with Crush. And you can reach it with Rush. Okay, we're almost done with the Piranha. And you can realistically one-shot the... Okay, we're going to need to hit the Thrall one more time for it to die. Hopefully it doesn't use the Revenge this turn. I believe the rule is that the Revenge is going to be a Thrall's second action after being hit. So yeah, use Gargling Grab this time. Yep, I figured the champion would use Barnacle Barrier. But now we need to concentrate our fire on the Thrall until it dies. Let's start with Hound's Harry.
Inspiration.
And now Crush. Okay, that's the Thrall and the Piranha. That just leaves the Tide Master and his bodyguard. And now that the champion is stunned, the Tide Master is no longer defended. And is susceptible to smiting. Of course, that would be more helpful if smiting would actually hit. It's surprising how easily enemies can just dodge, like, the wrath of an angry god. Okay. The Vestal may be stressing everyone out, but she is at least healing. It's kind of interesting. Every kind of affliction does its own stuff, but every kind of affliction seems to give the hero a chance to cause stress to everyone else every turn. Like, seeing their teammates afflicted inherently stresses people out. Which makes sense, I suppose. You're defending on these... defending? You're depending on these people for your life, so it makes sense that you'd start to get a little nervous if they're clearly acting crazy. Okay. And now, we just gradually wear the champion down. Emphasis on gradually. Oh. And Montfort has decided to prove me wrong again. And Valance isn't far behind.
This expedition at least promises success.
And that wasn't the end. There's more. There's another one. Probably just another one, though. Surely there's treasure secreted away. Well, you know, we have found, like, emeralds, gold, and even antiques in the sconces.
Of the damned, piled high and cloaked in malice.
Okay, this is not going to be easy. Let's start with Hound's Rush. Okay, only 90% stun resistance. Yes, only 90%. He's also not unholy, he's just human and eldritch. And Crush. Okay. So we get another round to wail on him before he has a chance to use Collect Call. So Smite. Okay, we managed to deplete a large portion of his health already. That's good. Bleeding. And now he uses Collect Call. That's always his first action. Right. So Dazzle the Collected Vestal. Okay, 6 to 11 for Crush. In that case, I'm going to go after the Man-at-Arms. And that's yet another reason to go after the Man-at-Arms. But you can still... Yeah, but the Houndmaster can still damage the Collector himself using Hound's Harry. Because Hound's Harry cares not for your defending shenanigans. Also, I hadn't really thought about this in my previous fights with the Collector, but if he's... Every time he's down at least one minion, he has a chance of using Collect Call. And the thing about Collect Call is it doesn't inflict damage to me, at least not directly, and it also doesn't allow him to heal himself like Life Drain would. So, it's actually not that bad. Collect Call is one of the less destructive things that he can potentially do. How much is he bleeding for? 6. So, like that. See, Life Steal would be an example of the thing I want to prevent him from doing. That's just a buff, not a healing, but it's quite a buff. And Crush. Hopefully this kills. Nope. 1 damage short of... Well, she'll die of bleeding next turn, so at least something. And Rampart, I mean Head Knocker. But now I have to deal with boosted Headhunt. And a critical on top of that.
A single strike.
Okay. Head games on the wrong target. That's good. Okay, we're almost there, but we're also
Injury
almost
and
dead.
despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
I don't really have the time to finish off the Collected Highwayman, to get to the Collected Highwayman to finish him off because he's defendered. So, actually, I was hoping that would restore more hit points than that. But, and of course,
Ringing ears.
oh,
Blurred
that's
vision.
really bad.
The end approaches.
Okay, Divine Grace, get the Houndmaster off of Death's Door. Okay. Okay, Valance, I have never needed a critical hit quite as much as I do in this moment. And so you miss entirely. Oh.
Perched at the very
no.
precipice of oblivion.
Oh no. Okay, well he does have the Holy Orders and that increases his death blow resistance. Let's just hope his death blow resistance holds up. Okay, at the very least, Collect Call is not Life Steal. Right. Healing in there. Gotta admit, Thrul has been doing a very good job considering the fact that she's been afflicted this whole time. Oh, come on. Hound's Harry manages to miss everything. And Montfort continues to be a champ. Continues to give us the critical hits that we so desperately need. And Sacier isn't far behind. Alright, okay, it's down to just a Collected Man-at-Arms. That's manageable. It's bad, but it's manageable. That's less manageable. Crush to soften it up so that I can finish it off with Smite. Everyone's kind of equally fucked, so let's just get some broad area healing in. Okay. And that's not really the kind of damage numbers I need to see from you. That's not really the kind of damage numbers I need to see from you either, Montfort. Okay, good. It's wasting head games. It's basically wasting them. Please not Life Steal, please. Oh, come on. Now you're just being mean. Okay, Okay, that at least is the end of him. Okay, that was at least sort of helpful. I guess she was preparing to be hit by headhunt. And now the healer needs a healer. Alright. Okay, Smite won't do much. Zealous Accusation won't do much either. Inspiring Cry will do almost nothing, but almost... honestly, I really should have gone for Stunning Blow. And he's still using Lifesteal. Okay, Lifesteal missed this time at least. Okay. Okay, a critical. Good. That's the kind of thing that needs to happen more. Okay, Dazzling Light, and I need it to stun. And it doesn't. Let's try Rampart. That could still be helpful. Okay, perfect. Rampart did exactly what I needed it to do. And Headhunt did what I needed it to do, which was miss. Okay.
Is often blind to its own peril.
Okay. Okay. The Collector is dead.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
And the Drool decided to steal from us. Okay, one more fight. We're going in pretty bad shape, but I think this is winnable. I'd still characterize this as winnable, but it's gonna be tough.
And now the true test. Hold fast, or expire.
Alright. Hound's Rush. Yeah, given how long the gas is likely to stay there, Target Whistle is worth it. Fortunately, the gas does little damage. It's all about stress. And while stress can be bad, our health is the main resource that we're low on, not sanity. So stress is the real problem. The gas being unholy also means that when Smite manages to hit, it hits hard. And fortunately, the champion is stupid and decided to Barnacle Barrier the Piranha rather than the gas. That's good. Keep doing that, Mr. Champion. You're helping me. No, not you. The other champion, not the cultist champion. Hound's Rush. Unfortunately, unlike the Collector, the Ghast can't really heal himself. Off-kilter Jig, so he's moving himself back. Yeah, we're gonna finish with everyone afflicted, aren't we? Okay. Stun the cultist champion. Right. Crusader back into position. Ow. And more spearfishing problems. Is this gonna... Okay, it at least didn't inflict any damage. Hound's Rush. This time it only did 8. I really would have liked if it could have done more than 8. Alright. Well, Drool, just focus on keeping everyone healed. We're gonna gradually diminish the number of enemies. Rampart is 3 to 5 and can stun. Crush does 6 to 11. He's bleeding for 2, so I would need to do 13 to finish him off, and instead I did 0. 0 is in fact lower than 13. I may not be good at math, but I do at least know that much. Yep, and he's falling back again. You know, the constant moving around of the, And Sasiet's afflicted again.
Frustration and fury.
And Valance's resolve is also tested. Focused. Finally, someone comes out, my gut tells me they're faltering. Finally, someone comes out virtuous. Alright.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Gather your wits. Okay. One more hit and the ghast is done. That just leaves the entire rest of the enemy team. Crush and miss. Yeah, Montfort's the only one who hasn't reached 100 stress yet. Crushed by justice. Once again, barnacle barrier on the wrong target. I can't complain. Seaward slash, and it doesn't even go for... Oh, wait, no, it did go for the person with the least health. Drool, just keep healing everyone. Just keep healing. Gather your wits. Boosts accuracy and critical. And Hound's Harry should be enough to finish off the... Yep, that's enough for the ghast. Now, stun the champion out of his guarding status. And now we can take out the piranha. And now Montfort's resolve is tested, and he's abusive too. So we have...
The bulwarks of the
Sick unholy vermin, you stain my honor. So, yeah. Yeah. This has been a bit of... Yeah, guys, I realize I've really put you through the ringer with this mission. Fortunately, it's almost over. No quarter given. Let's just Judgment the champion. Once again, the ghast is dealt with. The other enemies are dealt with. That just leaves gradually grinding away the champion's hit points. Oh. Please survive, Montfort. Oh. On the last fight, after he'd been holding up so well for the whole rest of the mission, Montfort finally goes down. Well, this was always going to be a difficult mission. Unfortunately, we lost somebody. Unfortunately, we're down to just the champion with 2 afflicted people. Let's be done with this rabble. Yep, well, Hound's Rush. Okay, got a critical. Go for Dazzling Light. His stun resistance. Yep, it's still low enough that you can stun him. Now, let's hope reinforcements don't show up until next round, because I need one more action to take him out. And that's the end of him.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Well, we lost Montfort, but we completed the mission.
At last, wholesome marine life can flourish. If indeed there is such a thing.
And we got the Ancestor's Pen, which is actually going to be a pretty good piece of equipment. Still, moment of silence for the Crusader that didn't make it out of here. And we have another case of the Red Plague, and Sassier has 2 different diseases, I think. Well, let's get some treatment.
There is a great horror beneath the manor.
Oh no, you're the one with the worries.
That must be destroyed.
Right, let's get the diseases treated. And there isn't really stress to speak of. Oh, except for Drool. Alright, Drool. Get some peace through meditation. Anyway, been at this a fair while. We've made some significant preparations for our next run through the Darkest Dungeon, and we managed to lose someone, unfortunately. So, this is going to be the end for this part. Thank you all for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time.